So what I wanted to ask you about was first off was your like flat Earth origin story, like the year, when it happened, why it happened, that whole thing. If you could sort of
In a
get into that.
nutshell, I was working in corporate America. I had started my own business, and while doing all of that, I was doing a conspiracy podcast about all the deceptions that are going on in the world, and people started sending me, "Hey, Dave, have you looked into flat Earth?" I was like, "Oh, that's funny, haha," And then they kept coming, and then they kept posting on our social media by several people, and I just banned them for life for being so stupid to even suggest that I look. And then I was forced to look, and I went in with the goal of just disproving this nonsense. We all know the Earth is a globe. Aristophanes figured it out 2,000 years ago, and you're a moron if you don't know that. Boats over the horizon, the whole thing. I had all the excuses. And I just went in. And then when I started investigating all the things that I thought were proofs of the globe, I realized they all fell short. And some of them, like seasons, actually proved the flat Earth, not the globe.
Mm.
So after a couple of weeks, I was like, wow, there's a problem. So I called myself a globe denier. I don't want to say the Earth was flat because the stigma that comes with that was too much at the time. And then, a few months went by, and I wasn't even going to mention it on the podcast. I'm like, this is going to just destroy everything that we've done. Credibility wise, is that the right word?
It's early. It's all good.
Yeah. And, and then I was like, screw it. And I brought it up, and we had about, I don't know, close to a year of the podcast before it just blew up. Nobody can handle it. And, we that ran 3 years.
Blew up in terms of a lot of people listening to it, or blew
Oh
up
no,
in
no,
terms of
well, both. It was
right.
it was a pretty big podcast, but the co-hosts, basically I had my truth seeking buddy, and then basically a troll, a comedian that basically tried to turn everything into a fart joke. And it just flat Earth was too much, 9/11 almost destroyed them, but flat Earth was too
Right.
much, And
Oh
so
man.
so then that's all right. I took some time off, and then I started the Flat Earth podcast. I'm like, wait a minute, there's no podcasts for Flat Earth. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube and stuff. So my buddy, it was actually my buddy, my co-host's idea. We met at a conference, and he's like, there's no podcasts. Actually, that story is slightly wrong, but it was my first co-host's idea. And we got together, started doing a podcast. That took off. And here I am talking to you.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy. So what year would that have been?
About
When you first
2015, it started.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting. So like my origin story, I suppose, for hearing about that whole thing is quite different to that. And I suppose like did you hear about it like through YouTube at all first, or was it just people bombarding you
People
with
bombarding
stuff?
me. And so then I went to YouTube and I watched a video that somebody sent me, a series of videos called Flat Earth Clues. And I was like, that's Mark Sargent. He was one of the early flat earthers where he was a gamer, he liked conspiracies, and YouTube's like, hey, flat Earth, check it out. And he's like, all right, I'll laugh at this. And he looked at it, and he started looking into it. He goes, wait a minute. He goes, I'm just not smart enough. So he made a series of videos saying, how does a space, if the space is a vacuum, how does a space suit work? Basically set out a series of short videos about seeing too far. And he figured some PhD would just come back and say, look, stupid, this is how it's done. And nothing happened, right? No one stepped up. And then the people that did step up, their answers were lame. I mean, they were like, you got to be kidding me. I have a 5th grade education. I can see that you're a moron, So that's where it started. And then the more you look into it, the more, I kick myself in the ass often. I was like, how did I ever believe that? I can't believe I was ever that stupid. I'm sorry, but globe Earth is the dumbest thing on Earth. The dumbest. It's the dumbest. Wait a minute. Globe Earth is so insane that when you understand what it is, you're crazy. Right. If you look out, this is you right now. This is you. Okay. I'm on the top of the world, and you're on the bottom of the world, right? And gravity is holding trillions of tons of ocean to the Earth, right? But I could hold my arms up somehow. Okay. Well, I can hold my arms up because I'm on the top of the world. You can't hold your arms up because you're upside down.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, please.
Well, it's funny actually, because I have you ever played Minecraft?
About 2 minutes.
For about 2 minutes. So yeah, it's really interesting. So like my introduction to flat Earth, or uh, it's probably even the wrong term, I suppose, because like it's not
True
flat.
Earth.
It's like
True Earth.
true Earth, or like
Topographical level Earth.
level. Yeah, it's probably more accurate, I suppose. Anyway, it was probably well before you, like probably years before. Like I was, and ironically, I was like looking up. I was really into simulation theory, which I still am, which I think is really, really interesting. And Mandelbrot sets and Benoit Mandelbrot and his whole equations and the whole thing. Um, and I was watching this video like probably 2012, 2013, and they were talking about the Mandelbrot equations, and it was Neil deGrasse Tyson with like a panel of people on talking about simulation theory, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, right. I kind of like resonate with a lot of this stuff. And then YouTube suggested this comedian afterwards. I remember it distinctly, and he was like, what's his name?
Math
Matt
Powerland.
Powerland. Yeah, yeah. And it was him sort of doing a story about how he worked for NASA and yeah, like flat Earth theory. And for me, I was just like, oh, it was like one to the next. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And because I'm like a massive Minecraft dude, kind of was just like, cool. And then forgot about it. And I was like, not, it didn't like aggravate me or anything. Like I've seen a lot of people online get angry about the whole idea. I was like, oh, that's interesting, but like didn't upset me, and
And
kind of just moved on.
and
So,
back then you'd watch a video and then YouTube would suggest another really good video on the topic
yeah,
and then
yeah,
another one,
yeah,
and then you're like, oh my God. And then 3 hours later, you're like, wow, you just
yeah.
keep on going. Now it's all propaganda. You can't find flat earth material online. And that's why I created my app, because it
Yeah.
bypasses the algorithm.
Well, that's where I was kind of going with that, because I was like, all right, well, that was interesting, whatever. And I totally forgot about it until I started watching like the Sam Tripoli podcast and Brian Callen, and I saw you like debating him, and it was the funniest thing I think I've ever seen in my life.
That was a good one.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So Sam's quote was, "You came to a gunfight with a fork." It's just like,
A
oh
spoon.
my,
He came with a
yeah,
spoon.
with a spoon or something. I'm like, oh my god, and you like had charts and everything behind it. I'm like, this is the greatest thing I've ever. Because Brian is like, he's such an arrogant dude.
An arrogant prick.
Yeah, he really like for
I mean,
everything.
the guy is fun. I got to give him credit. He is funny, but he's so arrogant. And then there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know the full story. His like father works for the Council of Foreign Relations. Okay, that's screwed up. All right, that's like, I'm like, is he just like, I don't know. I don't think anyone's telling him what to say, or
Yeah.
maybe they're telling him what not to say. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that. I don't know. But
Maybe.
anyway, I saw that. I'm like, holy shit, that is hilarious. Like you killed it on that. I was dying laughing from the start to the finish, just at his reactions to that. But I think the other thing that I've seen you through is this guy called Russian Vids. And Russian
Yeah,
Vids,
RV,
like
he's a
me,
good buddy.
he's so funny as well. So like me and a group of my friends, so if you can hook up an interview with him, like that would be amazing. Because me and my friends watch him stuff all the time. Not really the FE stuff, but like his other like transvestigation stuff.
I'll
That's
tell you
quite
what,
funny.
depending on how good your thumbnail is for this video, I'll hook you up with RV if you make a good thumbnail.
That'd be,
All right.
my friends would die. That'd be awesome. Anyway, so I got some sort of questions around like flat Earth and technology specifically. So like the big thing that, so like I'll give you like where my perspective on where I'm at with YouTube and all the rest of it. So we've done these things called Enigma missions for the last nearly 10 years now, 7 years that I've been at my school. So I'm a technology teacher. But the kids sort of pick a subject, work on it for up to 3 years, and it's like a self-directed learning mission that they go on. Historically, we've uploaded all that stuff to YouTube, and that's been fine. Like, kids sort of knowing their stuff inside out. And this is primary school kids or elementary kids I'm talking about. So it's quite important to them. The sad thing is YouTube just decides to delete their stuff randomly. So I have one girl who was doing GMO foods, amazing work that she did, deleted
Yeah,
for no reason.
the book burning is, it's almost over. and there's so much deleted off of YouTube. YouTube used to be YouTube, now it's ThemTube, and basically you can't say any truth on there. For some reason, they haven't eliminated flat Earth yet. I think that's coming. They even mentioned it in
Right.
their Senate hearings that they're, they use flat Earth as the example of how they're going to stifle truth. And here's a little trick for everybody that has a YouTube channel that's worried about it. Are you familiar with Odyssey? Odyssee. Odyssey. So it's another
LBRY, man. Yeah.
it's LBRY, but if you go to Odyssey, create an account there, and then when you just go click the little upload button, which is up on the top right, instead of just uploading it, say mirror my channel, and it will take all of your content, all of the thumbnails, all of the descriptions, and it will mirror them over. And then anytime in the future, when you upload something, if YouTube deletes it 10 minutes later, boom, it's on Odyssey already, and they can't delete it. So that's a little trick for everybody to do. Mirror your channels on Odyssey. It's literally 2 clicks.
Yeah. So have you had many issues with Google YouTube/YouTube?
Oh yeah, they took down my channel, but back, when I had stuff. I used to do exposing the big 3, and here we have our New York event, which I will leave nameless so the algorithms don't get it. The marathon event, and then the school in Connecticut called Sandy, which was the same as your Port Arthur nonsense event.
Right.
And so they struck my channel and took my, I don't know, I had like 60, 80,000 subs, something like that, which that was already a stifled number. And then they just basically destroyed everything. So now on my YouTube channel, DITRH, the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, it's exclusively flat Earth, So I haven't gotten any strikes there, but if you want to find the truth that used to be on YouTube, stoplookthink.com. All of the stuff is there. All of the stuff on 9/11, cool. All of the stuff on all of the hoax bang bang events that happen here in the United States and elsewhere. All of the COVIDs information. Okay. All of the nonsense.
Are you a Jeff Berwick fan then?
Huge fan. Huge Jeff fan.
That's cool, man. Yeah, he's funny. He's very funny.
Yeah, he's hysterical.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so you haven't really had your stuff deleted recently from YouTube then? I would have thought that that'd be
I've done a couple strikes on other channels because I've gone a little off on some other topics, and I'm waiting for one strike to go away now so I could upload a whole bunch of videos. But I put the other stuff on Stop Look Think, so that's where it is. Unfortunately, the sleeping people are all on YouTube. Not that everyone that's on YouTube is sleeping, but the sleeping zombies that we're trying to wake up, they'd never even heard of another site other than YouTube. That's all they know. So we have to stay there and try to get them to come over.
Yeah. Well, it's actually we did a student interview with do you know Andreas Antonopoulos?
I do. Oh, he's the Tataria guy, right?
He's the Bitcoin guy.
Oh, okay. Wrong guy. Sorry. I know the name. I don't know who he is offhand.
You'd probably recognize him if you saw it, but I want to get into the Bitcoin bet as well because that's amazing. But his analogy to YouTube when students actually asked him was that YouTube is the equivalent of using a horse and cart to go and make a car. So it's like if you had back in the day, if you were building cars and you said, "Oh, I only build a car if I can drive a car." To get to build that car and go on the roads, it would have never happened. So we have to use these old techs to get to the new tech sort of thing. And I love that analogy. I thought it was so cool.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But I butchered it. Like he did it much better more eloquent than I could probably do. But so with that, so you've developed an app now, right? Perfect. You read my mind.
I can read your mind. It's too easy.
So you've developed this specifically to get around the YouTube algorithm, but can you take us on the journey of how that, like the the first idea like of building, because I've
Yeah.
done my
So
own
it
startup
wasn't
as
first to get
well,
around the
and
YouTube
it's
algorithm.
brutal.
Yeah.
Right,
So
okay,
so
right.
I'd be out talking to people, and flat Earth comes up. I love when flat Earth comes up. All flat Earthers love when people bring up flat Earth, because then it opens the door to basically dump information. And so I'll
Yeah.
explain it. They're like, "You really think the Earth is flat?" And I'm explaining, and they're like, "Oh, it's interesting." And they're like, "They're not getting it. They're not getting it." And then I was like, I wish I had that model of the flat Earth on my phone, right? And I was like, you know what? I've done apps before. I'm gonna make an app, and I'm just gonna make it for myself. I just made a simple app, and I put it on
Oh, so you made it just for you.
just for me, and I put it on
Oh
test
wow.
flight, and I had it. So I'd be like talking to people, and I'm like, look, I go, this is how it works, and the sun goes around, and they look at it, they go, oh, now I get it. Hey, where can I get that app? And I'm like, well, it's not available. So then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make it available. I made it free, right? And I was like, okay. And so, I started getting a few thousand downloads, 10,000 downloads. And then people are like, yeah, can you add this? Can you add that? So I started adding, every time you add $1,000, $1,000, $1,000, right? And you just keep adding. And I'm like, okay, this is not sustainable. So I changed it to $2.99. And it worked. People liked it. And so I started adding more and more. And I have so much content on it now. Let me show you the app just real quick, and then I'll finish the story.
Yeah.
So this is the app. The sky is a clock. It shows how seasons work. It shows where you see the moon trailing the sun. If I speed up the sun, you'll see that it's getting farther away from the moon. So it laps the moon every 28 days. We just had a full solar eclipse yesterday. And not a full, it was 80% here where I am. And so it shows you that. It shows you how a compass works, where east and west are circles. South, point in any direction, and you'll be pointing south. Any direction you point is south. Okay, it's crazy once you understand how that works. If I hit the images, we have all sorts of images. So when you're talking to people, like, oh, you believe in the moon landing? Yeah, you believe we took off on the moon with that? Right? It's made out of paper mache and curtain rods and tinfoil, right? Can
I stop you there? Where are these hosted?
So this is all in the app. Oh, it's on a server, but I can update these in real time. Like on the app, if I just click hold on. So if I just click this button right here, that's where the images are. And literally while we're talking, I could add an image to it, and then bam, everyone across the plane has it on their app instantaneously.
So what I'm getting at is, where do those images and videos sit, and who owns them?
They're my images. They're on they're on a unspecified server, which I am not going to mention. And I could add to them at any time. So tons of stuff. Some of them are gifts. Look, that Elon that Werner von Braun wrote a book about going to Mars in the 1950s, and the guy that's leading the mission is named Elon.
What, the Nazi?
Yeah, the Nazi that's running NASA wrote a book in the 1950s about a group of people that went to Mars, run by a guy named Elon. And on the right is Elon. Yeah, that's a fact. And on the right is the rocket that Elon wants to take people to Mars. And a month ago, Elon tweeted he wants to redesign it and make it pointier. Okay, they're literally mocking us. They're mocking us.
Yeah. Wow.
There's all sorts of stuff. So when you're explaining Aristophanes, you can look. This is how it really works. Talk about the Suez Canal.
The sticks and shadows.
Yeah, sticks and shadows. We're spinning in all of these directions, but this happens. Okay, you're able to do this. That makes a lot of sense. And when actually just last night I went out. We're out with a bunch of truthers, not necessarily flat earthers. And one woman asked me what I was doing, what I do, and I explained that I do these interviews, and she's like, "What?" And I said, "About what?" And I talked about this, truth. And I said, and the shape of the earth. She goes, "Well, what do you mean the shape of the earth?" And we got into it, and then some more people came around. Before I knew it, there was 20 people going, "Okay, we're gonna win these Bitcoins, right?" Photos of Earth, and I just pulled out the app, and I'm like, photos of Earth, and I go down, I go, which one do you like? Do you like this one on the left or this one on the right? I told the story, Robert Simmons, but having this stuff at your hands makes you super powerful in your ability to show people, like, show me what the Earth looks like. Well, there you go. This is the best map I think we have of how the Earth works, right? You're not
Yeah,
down under,
right.
you're out over. You're out over, right? And they're like, well, what about seasons? And I'm like, right now, you can see that the sun is over the inner yellow line. That's the Tropic of Cancer. And here in Miami, in Southern America, in Southern United States, it's friggin' hot because the sun is directly over us. But you guys are having your winter, right? Like we're
Yeah.
almost in the heat of our summer and you're almost in the height of your winter. Now you're close to the tropics, so you don't get that cold. But 6 months later,
Oh no, it's freezing.
okay, 6 months later
I'm in
though, in
Melbourne.
December, the sun is over you. That's your sun. And then when people can see this and visualize it, then they're like, huh, that does make perfect sense, you know? And then they realize how
Mm.
stupid the globe is. And then in here, you know, there's not that many questions. Basically, there's 21 categories of questions, and here they all are. They're all here answered. And someone says, "Hey, what about seasons?" You can click this,
Hmm.
and up comes a playlist of videos that
Aha.
Google, YouTube will not serve you. Right? You see
Now
those?
these, yeah. Now these, this is what I was getting at. So these are hosted on YouTube, yeah.
Well, yes. For right now, they're hosted on YouTube, but as YouTube starts deleting them, I will be adding other platforms that they can link to. I can link it to anything. I can link it to a private
Yeah.
server. I can link it to
Okay.
Odyssey, right?
Ripper. Okay. Cool. Cool.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I was getting at. So the that's what this podcast is. The
right,
Interplanetary File Podcast.
right.
So basically, I don't know if you've looked into that at all, but basically what that is, it's an open protocol for the internet so that you can put video like
Oh, I
whatever
like
you
it.
want. So it's cool, man. It's
Yep.
really, really cool.
That's
So,
that's
and you
where it's
can,
going. But right now, YouTube is the easiest. You know, the videos are
yeah,
still there as long as they let them stay there. I'm going to keep them here, but I'm ready. I got them all backed up, and they're all ready to deploy on other platforms. Um,
awesome.
Flat Earth books, if you're interested in you know, great gifts, good for yourself. The Iron Republic's top center, bam. That one tells you like a story about what's beyond Antarctica. I kind of believe the story. Or
Okay.
this one, 16
Cool.
Emergency Landings, great coffee table book. Anyone that picks it up becomes a flat earther. Um, Different languages, we're working on adding to that playlist, you know, for people that speak different languages. It does a ton. But what I tell everybody every day, there's a featured video. And that video is it's a featured video a day. And what I tell people is watch the daily video every day for 2 weeks. And if you still think the earth is flat, send me your reason and you win 2 Bitcoins. And the answer,
Yes.
but before you do that, you have to hit the frequently asked questions and make sure it's not in there because it is in there. You just didn't look.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you've put so much work into that. Like, this is
I
obviously
have. It's
massive.
You know, I had my people like, he's in it for the money. He's doing this for the money, right? You know, that flat earth, that killer flat earth money. And the answer is, I'm not doing it for the money, but the money allows me to do it, right? I had my own business where I was making more money than I ever thought I could make. I was my own boss. All right. Awesome. Walked
what were you
away
doing?
from it all. Because I was like thinking about it, and I kind of just got like a message from the universe saying none of this is going to matter in a couple of years if the people fall, right? And the people, we're falling right now. We're going into this great reset. And I figured, okay, you know what? How am I going to pay my bills? I went home to pay my bills that night, and then Apple, bam, as I was paying my bills, sent me a check for the, you know, a transfer for the app, and it was just enough to cover my bills. And I was like, that's a sign.
Wow.
If I do this full time, I'll make more than that, and that'll be enough to
Wow.
cover my bills and still have fun.
What was your business before this?
I was in the commercial solar power development company. We identify projects, sell them, finance them, and construct them.
So you were like Elon Musk, basically.
Well, no, my company isn't a failed company that loses money. My company was actually making money. So
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. I don't know if I included. You're gonna get an automated email with some links and stuff. I'm gonna start including, if I haven't done it yet, Elon Musk fraud video. Greg Reese. All you got to remember, just search YouTube. It's mirrored on every channel. It's on all the other platforms. Greg Reese, Elon Musk. It's a 5-minute video showing that every single thing he said about every company that he supposedly works at, runs, owns is a lie. Everything about his life is a lie. He is a puppet. He's a moron. And that's it. He doesn't run any company. He is a front man.
PayPal was a fraud, right?
It wasn't him. It wasn't him.
It wasn't him.
It wasn't him.
True.
And it's the same with everything. Tesla Motors, not him. Right. And then he started some online bank. And when they really tried to do it, they're like, all this code's bad. And they had to hire new coders and they fired him. I mean,
man.
Just check. Elon Musk is a fraud, and they're using him. They're like, he's manipulating the crypto market because everyone's like, oh my God, Elon said this. Elon isn't saying anything himself. Everything. Yeah. He's a MK Ultra, puppet for the elite.
Yeah, he's a weirdo. I mean, like, I was kind of behind him when he was saying like BTC whatevs for like Tesla.
Well, yeah, that got like, everybody that
excited.
That was that was done on purpose because they don't like crypto, and they're trying to, basically, in my opinion, they've corrupted Bitcoin, but people don't understand that Bitcoin isn't the only thing. Bitcoin was like the Model T. Now we've got Porsches. Okay.
Well, I like Monero and stuff. Well, look, I will say that, like, I mean, I've been in this for a long time. So to give you a background on me, it's like I built the first student-centric school funded entirely with Bitcoin. So we did 21 BTC back in 2016. We had a philanthropist come from the States, and he came to my school, and he stayed, like, because we have visitors like all the time, and he stayed for the whole day and stayed like after school. And for Coder Dojo, which is like a program that I used to run after school, I was like, dude, this guy like really likes the school. And he's like, oh, hello.
he's going in and out of my legs. I figured I just better pick him up for a minute.
But yeah, so this guy came out and he's like, dude, I want to give you 21 BTC to build that school you were talking about. I'm like, what? So we were talking about building a school out of shipping containers. So we built a student-centric school completely out of shipping containers and got the kids to use the blockchain to vote on how the funds were allocated for their learning space. And
nice.
Completely amazing. Never been done before or since, and it probably would never be done again with that amount of Bitcoin. But super important to me, and financial literacy is super important to me in terms of like upskilling students for the next group of people sort of coming along, so we don't go through the same financial rubbish that we've been through for the last 100 years plus, or at least from the 70s sort of thing. But that's kind of my backstory on BTC. How did you get into Bitcoin? Because you got 2 Bitcoins up for this for this bet. How did you learn about it, and like how did you get the idea to put it up for a bet for this, and what's the mechanics behind the bet? So have you got like multi-sig or something set up for it, or?
I don't have anything set up for it because there's no proof for the globe. I'm willing to hear anyone's proof. Just, somebody sent me one today and it's so long and convoluted. I'm like, I already know the answer. I'm just like, how am I going to explain it to this person? Because it's ridiculous. It's there's so many assumptions and nonsense in it. And I don't want to be just the guy like, oh, you're just going to say it's fake, it's wrong. No, I want to look at, if you have something legitimate, let's look at it. Let's analyze it. So I'm gonna take care of that over the next few days. But the idea just came to me just because it's the easy way to transfer money rather than say I'll give you $100,000. I'd rather say 2 Bitcoins, whatever it is, and it's a little more exciting that way. But I got into Bitcoin. I heard about it years ago. It's funny. I was like, digital currency is the death of us. When the government's going to take us over.
And you're one of them.
No, I was one of them. I actually believed the earth was a ball back then. Okay. I was fucking insane. But my son comes to me and he goes, hey dad, he was, how old was he? I don't know. 10 years ago. He's like 20 something. And he goes, hey, can I mine Bitcoin on this computer? I got him a new Mac. And then I was like, the hell's that? And he tells me what it is. And he goes, I go, how much are the Bitcoins worth? He goes, they're about $7. And I'm like, I go, let me see the chart. And he shows me the chart. I go, they were $3 a couple days ago. I go, you've missed it. It's too late. And I go, you're not going to make enough. Right. And then when it was $10, I'm like, that's interesting. And then it was $100. I'm like, oh, it's definitely too late now. And then it was $1,000. I'm like, well, it's absolutely too late now, and then and I wrote it up. And so then I started buying it, shortly after that, we had our run up and then our drop down, and I just kind of held. I'm just holding, and then I started learning about these other coins, and to me, I think that Bitcoin is not the future. I think that privacy coins are the future. You know, you and I are fans of Jeff Berwick, and I've been listening to him for over 10 years. I should have been following everything he said over 10 years,
Yeah.
because then I would be doing this from a tropical place in the Caribbean right now, you know, in my penthouse on the beach.
Hey, but then we wouldn't be talking now. So
Yes, we would. I would still do this, but I would be outside, and I would have, you know, it would be amazing.
Yeah, his videos always make you look like, it looks like, oh my god, it looks so nice where he is. I want to
Well,
go there.
just his humor. I mean, he's just
Yeah,
basically laughing at the world, and you have to laugh at the world because the world is hysterically funny.
it's funny. Yeah,
Yeah, hysterically funny.
it
And
certainly is.
just for, you know, for people that don't, people go, what is Bitcoin? Show me one. It's nothing. I'm like, you know, what is a dollar other than kindling for a fire, right? It's nothing. It's being inflated. You know, with privacy coin like Pirate Chain or Monero, it's perfect money. It's perfect. Like if
Yeah.
you said, hey Dave, I need some money right now, and I'm like, well, if I transfer you a bank wire, it probably won't get there until Tuesday. You know, it's going to cost me $100 to send it to you. Oh, but wait, I got some gold. How can I get the gold to you? And then if I got the gold to you, what are you going to do with it? You know, Bitcoin, you know, Pirate Chain or Monero, bam, I can get it to you for a penny in seconds.
That's right, and the Lightning Network, obviously, like
Yeah.
with BTC. So on that topic, and this is getting way off topic, I suppose, but El Salvador. What's your thoughts? Like, I mean, my God, I've just been like so excited. I've been excited about what's happening there for the last 6 months plus, like following that story, tweeting at Bitcoin Beach, like,
Oh yeah,
my
El
God,
Salvador
like, how
that
can we
made
help?
Bitcoin legal tender, and houses are
Yeah,
really
man.
cheap there. I'm like, is that, maybe that's a cool place to live? I don't know. You know, the
Do you
issues
know the
with,
story of how they did it?
no,
Like
tell
how
me.
that came about? Oh, dude, it's amazing. So there's a group of guys from the States and actually with software developed in Australia called the Wallet of Satoshi. Awesome software. Like if you want a Lightning wallet, just grab that. It's like perfect, easy to use. And like you can give it to your mum and she'll be able to use it. Um, but basically, these guys went in and they went to really poverty-stricken areas with students in schools, or like the history of El Salvador is very violent. People leave for gangs. Like it's people don't stay in school, so they went in and paid kids in Bitcoin to stay in school, created a circular economy, and loaded up all these people. Like, you know, this is people in like huts and stuff with nothing basically, but they created an economy with people who never had bank accounts before, using Bitcoin, paid the kids to stay in school, and then they actually bought food for their family, and it's just exploded and gone along the beach. And the crazy thing that happened, all the gangsters have said to these guys, "Oh my God, can you do this like for my siblings at this school and that school and that school?" And they like protected these guys until it got to the president, and now the president's like, well, laserized till 100K. Like, this
Yeah.
is like, it's amazing. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen. And it's just like a couple of dudes went and did that on their own.
It's the first hole in the dam. It's coming.
Yeah, man, it's coming. It's coming 100%. So I'm super
Yeah.
excited about that.
And the people that say, you know, there's two futures that I see, two timelines, and they're both drastically different. Now people say, what if the power goes out? Where's your Bitcoin? I'm like, if the power goes out, what are you going to do? Go to the bank and ask them to write in a ledger and hand you some cash? That's not going to work. If the power goes out, money and jobs, none of that's going to matter. Bullets and food are going to matter. Okay. You know, and fortitude and water, you know, so in the future, if shit hits the fan, Bitcoin's not the answer. Neither is cash. Neither is anything that anyone's planning for. If we hold ourselves together, if we keep the power grid running, if we, you know, start taking back our freedom, the only way we can get it back is to take it back from the bankers, and crypto is the way to do it. And privacy coins are the answer to crypto.
Totally. Well, I mean, yeah, fungibility is obviously a huge thing as well. But I mean, that being said, there's ways to do that with BTC. But the other really cool thing, and you'll probably dig this, being with a solar background, what they've started doing in El Salvador is actually building miners around volcanoes. So volcanoes have free energy. They're harnessing that.
They're building miners, right?
So crazy. Like, what? It's just nuts. Okay, so we've probably got into that enough. So my big question for you that I really wanted to ask you was, oh, actually, before I get into that, I watched the Wu-Tang
Oh boy.
interview just recently. Oh my god, dude, that was a hard watch. Like
That
you have got you,
guy is the, I don't know. I'm trying not to even say anything because, I don't know.
I'm a Wu-Tang fan since I was a
Yeah,
kid.
but listen, I saw a
Like,
show with him earlier that
yeah.
he had another guy on, but his co-host was like, oh, and they were asking good questions, and they were starting to see it. So I figured I
Mm-mm.
was on with those two guys, but he brought the other guy on, the Mister Everything's a sphere, therefore the Earth
That
is.
guy was a horror show. Like, obviously, Killer Priest is like not on the same path as him,
Yeah, but
but
Killer
my
just shut
god,
up because Killer didn't want to go against his co-host, his guest. I mean,
yeah,
man,
yeah, yeah.
super painful. But those painful ones help wake people up. People like, yeah, I saw it on
True.
Killer Priest, and wow, that guy was really stupid.
Amazingly, yeah, just like everything's a sphere and it's perfect. You listen
It's
to nothing
perfect.
that
It's
Dave said.
perfect. I did make a clip. I think I made a clip. I did make a clip of that, right? Yeah, it's
I
perfect.
don't know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everything's perfect. Oh
It's
God. I
perfect.
swear, yeah.
Yeah.
You've got the patience of Job. Like I would have left. So
I
my
curled
God.
up in a ball and ate a THC gummy after that. All right. You didn't see the after effect. I should film myself after these friggin' painful shows.
Yeah,
I get
yeah,
upstairs, I
you
curl up in a
should.
ball, I'll eat a gummy, and my girlfriend will come and she'll be like patting my back. She's like, it's okay. It's okay.
You should do that on like your Patreon or something.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, like the last big question I had, I suppose, like why is flat Earth so important of an idea to you and to other people? And
Yeah.
then I've got to follow up to that.
Yeah. So the bottom line is, like, Dave, why are you talking about flat Earth? There's so many issues in the world. The election and the nonsense and the COVIDs and blah 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 blah. And the answer is all of those things are going on to distract you from flat Earth because once you see flat Earth, it opens your eyes to everything. It opens your eyes to you're not a random speck spinning out of control through an endless, godless solar system, right? Soul lure system. That's a hint right there. And the when you realize what the Earth is, you realize that you are at the center of creation. That the heavens revolve around you, and that's what scientism says. That's just a stupid thing to say. That's so self-centered. Well, we are centered. We are at the center of creation. We are here experiencing the world for the creator. Our soul, I say, is a piece of the creator. Our soul knows the truth. Our soul says, hey, I'm going to come down. I'm going to go into this avatar suit. It's basically like Avatar. It is kind of like a simulation, but it's real. And we're here expanding the mind of God. They don't want us to know that that we are in an intelligently designed world. They want us to think that we evolved from pond scum, that we're spinning out of control, lost in space. Because if they do that, they keep us in fear. They stop us from manifesting the world that we want. Our future is up to us. The only control that everyone in Australia is locked down because in their imagination, they believe that there's someone has authority over them and can lock them down. What if everyone woke up tomorrow? Everyone in Australia is watching this right now, and I say, your government doesn't exist. Ignore them. They have no rights over you. You don't have any rights over them. They can't do it. What are you going to do? Everyone's going to go do their thing. There's nothing they could do. They would be nothing. They'd be insects so small that you wouldn't even notice them. But everybody is just hypnotized and believe, the nonsense. If you watch the news, they're steering your mind. They're steering you with news, which is an acronym for North, East, West, South. Okay. They're steering the direction of your mind. That's it. We have a very simple thing here. Don't lose control of your soul. Don't break anyone else's free will. Have a good day. Help the person to your right. If everyone did that, the world would be a utopia, but they don't want us to believe that that's even a possibility. There was, I don't know if you remember, but there was shows about utopia, I guess, like not National Geographic shows where they tried to set up a utopia where everybody worked together, and then they said, within a year, everybody killed each other. Okay, that's not true. That's not human nature. It doesn't work that way.
I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, totally. Well, yeah, I've got one of my best friends is a police officer, and I what the cops have been doing in Victoria has been horrific, like beating up old ladies and stuff for going outside. But um,
Wait, old ladies go outside? How dare they?
yeah, pepper spray.
Yeah,
It's just nuts. Um, but like, what happens when you're in the police force is you kind of you see everyone as the enemy, and it's hard to sort of get out of that mindset.
sure.
But I was saying to him, like, it's like if everyone was bad, or if like even 1% of people were bad, you couldn't walk outside because you get murdered, right? Like, it wouldn't work. So I think the majority of people are very good. So I agree with you there. Um, but my follow-up question to that, actually, I got two follow-up questions. So the Scott Fitzgerald quote of like holding two, I'm going to butcher it, but holding two opposing ideas and still being able to function. I don't know if you've heard of that quote before, but like the basically to be an intellectual, you should be able to hold two opposing thoughts, which is what I initially thought of when I heard of this theory, like sort of coming from the whole perspective of the like simulation theory and flat Earth and the balls, but like having spinning ball theory, I suppose you could call it. But being able to hold those two theories, do you think there's any merit to that whatsoever?
Explain the question again. Merit to
So being able to hold two opposing thoughts, so obviously like flat Earth and um, spinning ball theory, I suppose
well,
you could
you can
call it.
hold some thoughts like, is the Earth just a pond, like this, and everything else is frozen, or maybe that there's other rings around us with other suns, right? Or maybe that there's other puddles beyond, we have this pond and then there's another puddle 10, 20,
Mm,
30, 50, 100,000 miles away, not
mm-hmm.
billions of trillions of miles, right?
Yeah.
But thinking that the Earth is a spinning globe in a space vacuum, sorry, you can't hold that one. That one has to be eliminated because it breaks every law of thermodynamics. It breaks every sense that we have. I mean, if you think you're spinning, twirling, whirling, corkscrewing through space, but somehow all of the stars reset, there's no logic in that, right?
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
logic. Science tells us that they can tell the difference because they'll look at a star with a star behind it, and then 6 months later, when we're 186,000 miles on the other side of the sun, they'll see parallax, and that star will be in a different place. Well, that's just 186,000 miles. What about the 4.4 billion miles that we traveled that year chasing the sun, and then all the other years added on? How come the stars never changed? Right?
Mm,
There's no
mm, mm.
parallax. It's all nonsense. But people just believe like, oh, that sounds really good. That's beyond my ability to figure out. So I'll have to trust them. That's ridiculous. Okay. It's the dumbest thing ever. And then seeing stars it's idiotic. Idiotic. Our sun, they tell us our sun is this big, whatever. And at 93 million miles away, it's the size of a coin. That got pretty small. Okay. Imagine if it was right in front of your, over your head, it would fill the entire sky. It's the size of a nickel held at arm's length. If I made it 4 times farther, scientifically, we can prove that you couldn't see it. Okay. Because it's too small. Okay. But let's make it 24 times as far just to make sure we couldn't see it. That is absolutely absurd to believe that you could see the sun 24 times the distance. It's too small. It's too dim. And that's it. Okay. That's 3 light hours. The distance to the sun where we absolutely, without beyond doubt, scientifically provable, cannot see it is 3 light hours. I'm a light hour, you couldn't see it. But let's just make it 3 light hours. Okay. They tell us Polaris is 433 light years away. Okay. How the fuck did you see it?
Because
People
it's
just
perfect.
like these numbers are too
sphere.
big. These numbers are too big because it's perfect. It's circle, and it goes, and the light doesn't get dimmer. Light in distance gets dimmer. Okay,
Yeah.
it's perfect. I'm gonna have
It's
to use
perfect.
that. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
it's just perfect.
It's just perfect. It's just friggin' perfect.
So my last question. So obviously, like you've put a lot of energy into the app and like getting this message out to people, because you have a lot of conviction in that it can help people, right?
It does help
Um,
people. I get messages all the time saying I changed their lives. I saved their marriage. I saved their kids. I said they were. Some people said that they were depressed on the edge of suicide, and now they're not depressed anymore, and they're having the greatest time. I mean, there's countless. I mean, there's so many people that this message has helped, and I've reached a lot of people. So I'm going to
That's
keep doing
amazing.
it because I love it. Listen, I
Yeah.
worked all day yesterday. I had 5 interviews yesterday, and then I ended, after a 3-hour marathon show I did, and I went out to have some fun with some people. I ended up preaching flat Earth for freaking 2.5 hours. Okay. And I didn't even bring it up. I don't bring it up. People bring it up. And I just kind of like give them one thing, and then they're like, "That's more." And I was like, "Okay, here's that." And then other people started joining in. It was crazy, crazy.
Oh my gosh,
Then I
that's
come home,
crazy,
I go to
man.
sleep, and now I'm talking to you.
Well, that's maybe I shouldn't even bother with my question then. That's like that
Good.
sounds you've saved people's lives.
Ask, continue.
That's a good.
Sorry.
No, I mean like no, that's amazing, man. Like props, like it's to dedicate yourself to that and to do it from a perspective of like I suppose like the complete antithesis of where you came from to now building an app and like spreading that information to people. That's like well done.
The
Like
app
that's really
just
good.
keeps getting better and better. I think it's good enough, but I'm like, all right, I got it. Every time I thought I was like, wow, that's it. There's nothing else to add. I'm like, wait a minute, I could add this. And then, wait a minute,
Yeah.
I could add this. Wait a minute, I could add this. And I'm adding more and more. And as people buy it, it helps me fund it. And the app isn't free. It costs hundreds of dollars a month to run. And it's
Ah,
building. The more people that get on it, the more it costs. So the app's $2.99 in America. What is that in Australian? Like $50?
yeah, it's $300.
300 $300, whatever. It's two
You
dollars and
should,
ninety
hey,
nine cents.
dude, you should price it in sats. Price it
Yeah,
in satoshis. What are you
I,
doing?
I'm sorry, but Google Play and Apple are part of the beast. So, um,
Yeah.
it's one-time charge, and you have it for life. There is a pop-up that says, "Hey, would you like to subscribe?" Because people ask me to put a donation button on it to help fund future things, but they don't let you put a donation button. So I put a subscribe button on. Okay, what does the subscribe button get? When the pop-up comes up, there's no ads, there's no wait. You can hit the X and it goes away instantly. Okay, and then it only shows up once every 24 hours. So they'll use it for the rest of the day. It won't show up again. Right, the next day you're using the app, it pops up, X, it's gone. Okay. You don't have to subscribe. You still get everything. You just don't get the good karma of subscribing and supporting me further. Okay. It's the only thing you don't get.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, sorry, before I go into my last question or last point for that, the IPFS protocol. So
Explain
there's
that.
ways to integrate that in. So IPFS, and this is what the name of the podcast. So IPFS stands for the Interplanetary File System. So it's akin to LBRY or a decentralized system like your T-shirt um, that basically lets you own your own stuff. So when you upload stuff to YouTube, upload it to Google Drive,
Whatever. You don't
iCloud,
own it.
whatever, you don't own it. It belongs to somebody else, right? With IPFS, it creates a unique hash, so an atomic hash of whatever thing you're uploading. So a photo of us together, or a poem that you've written, or your app, or videos in your app, or whatever it is. It creates a unique hash for that. It's such a cool
Where is it
concept
stored? Where is it stored?
on your computer and on a distributed network. So think of it like torrents,
Yeah.
but much more well thought out than torrents. Like torrents are great, and it's a great jump off point to think about this tech. But basically, what it does is it basically fixes all the issues that we have with the internet. So when you get like a 404 error, that can't happen with IPFS. So replace the idea of HTTP with IPFS in your mind. So like any stuff that can go on the internet can go in this, and it has the right to be deleted by the initial person that created it as well. Such a cool piece of tech. I'll send you some stuff to have a read through because it would be really worth
I've heard about it.
if
It sounds
if
awesome.
if you can afford integrating it into your app, it'd be worth doing. Like I've been through creating a startup as well, and it's brutal, man. Like so I've got a startup that we actually created off IPFS to take stuff out of Google Classroom into a learning wallet that's belonged to students. So instead of it belonging to Google, their stuff belongs to them, but the development and all the costs, as you would know, are just crazy doing that. But anyway, it's worth looking into if you get some time. Have a read through the IPFS white paper. It's a bit dense, but it's good. Like really, really well thought out. And I think as an open protocol, It's the best. Like I love LBRY and it's great for video. But this has the opportunity to sort of replace everything, and everything that's broken with the internet, and not have controllers like deleting stuff, deleting student work, like believe it or
Right.
not.
Got it.
Um, yeah, so worth having a look into it. So my final question. So obviously the flat Earth idea is very important to you for helping people, and you have helped people. I think it's awesome. Do you think at a base layer for where we're at now that particularly, and I'm coming at it from like a student perspective, that financial literacy might be more important than that for helping society? Um,
Financial literacy is in understanding finance, like understanding crypto
what
and
money,
what money is, and
what money is and where it comes from, because
yeah,
that's the
I think that
basis
is
of
super
society.
important. But how you can't learn anything well if you're not standing on solid ground. If you're spinning out of control, lost in space, you don't know who you are, where you are, what you are. It's the foundation of everything. Once you are grounded, it's funny when people see flat Earth. All of a sudden, they can see other things that are not related, other things from the the nonsense that's going on in the world, and they just start seeing because they've reconnected to who they truly are. We're in this spiritual, metaphysical world. And if you're not mentally grounded to the world, you lose a lot of that intuition, you lose a lot of that knowledge. Um, so so is it more important? No, but it's the foundation. Once you're grounded, then people like, oh, I get it, Federal Reserve isn't real. Oh my god, central banking sucks. Oh my god, they're making money out of thin air. That's when people start seeing it. So um we need people like you pushing financial literacy, like Jeff Berwick doing what he does. I do what I do. Together, we have a great truth soup. But the foundation of that soup is, where do you live? Who are you? Where are you? What are you? And the power of your mind. Again, to understand finances, you have to understand the control they have over you with finances. They
Mm.
have fiat money is ridiculous. It's so stupid. It's almost as dumb as the globe, but not quite. Okay.
Oh,
So
I don't know. I don't know.
listen, let's have a stupid contest. Fiat currency or the globe. I think the globe is going to win. I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
don't know, man. I don't
Yeah,
know.
because fiat currency it doesn't even work without something to be on, and the globe isn't anything you could possibly be on. So
Okay.
again, you can't just have one truth. You have to have lots of truths. And if everybody was doing flat Earth, that actually would be really good. But but we need people doing other truths. Like Max Egan hated flat Earth, but he was throwing out such other good truth. He doesn't need to touch flat Earth. Let him do what he's doing. It's great. But Max actually has come around. He's embraced crypto a little bit, and he's like, "Hey, the world's not a spinning globe." That's all I need. I don't want to need to say the Earth is flat, because honestly, we don't know what the hell this place is. We just know, we all know it's not a spinning globe. And
Simulation, yeah.
well, it's some sort of simulation, sure. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. Oh well, actually, sorry. I wanted to ask you that as well. Just going back. So Benoit Mandelbrot and his equations, like I don't know if you're familiar, but like the Zn plus one equals Zn2 plus C, like that equation. Now it's used for like films and like it's used for everything, right? To create like trees and everything. So you basically reverse engineered how um, life sort of works in the world. Have you looked into that at all, or do you know anything about that?
a little bit. I haven't looked in a while. I am a fan of that work, but I'm not too familiar with it right now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I just find it so fascinating, but I thought you might be interested in that. But
I'm
basically,
interested
like,
in everything. It's just time is an issue. Years ago, I said, when I was into all this research, I was like, God, I wish I had more time to research, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I got insomnia. I only slept 4 hours a night. I was like, wow, now I
Oh,
have more time to research. You got to be careful what you ask for, right? I was like, all right, you know what? I'm operating on 4 hours sleep. I'm pretty good. I basically, like, I got a long sleep last night. I think I went to bed at midnight and got up at 6. That's like a long night for me. So
oh man. Well, you
yeah,
look well.
I'm doing my best. All right, this is my last interview for the week. So
Oh, awesome. Oh, thanks heaps, Dave. This is really fun. This is
Yeah.
really cool. Thanks heaps for doing it. It's I mean I'm about to go to it's 12 now, so I gotta go to bed. But yeah, this is also this is the resurgence of the
How's that
official
possible on a
IPFS
flat Earth?
podcast.
How could it be midnight there and 10 a.m. here? That's impossible on a flat
I'm
Earth.
on
Oh
the
no, it's
bottom.
not. It makes perfect sense on a flat Earth.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. I've been wanting to, next time I do an Australian interview, I want to put my camera upside down and do the entire show upside down.
Do it. It'd be awesome.
All right, I'll see you. Thanks much.
Thanks, heaps, buddy. Talk soon.
All right, man. Thanks. See you.
Bye.
The Flat Earth Sun and Moon Clock App, a dynamic new app to teach family and friends about where they actually live. The sky is a perfect clock. The sun measures the hours and days. The moon measures the weeks and months. The star constellations measure the seasons and years. 12/12 or 24-hour clock face, or go hands-free. The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock App with new added features. World Time. See what time it is all around the flat Earth. A true Earth compass that shows true navigation across and around the flat Earth plane. Weather. Tap for detailed local weather information. Know what phase and where the moon is at all times. Watch the sun travel between the tropics for the seasons. Select an amazing background. Add your own or have the app change it to a new one automatically every time you use the app. Add a countdown to your next big date. Learn the truth about our world with the featured video of the day. Web button for additional flat Earth related features, from the mythical curve calculator all the way to Tartaria. While talking to friends, easily pull up pictures that expose the globe lie and shine light on the flat Earth truth. Video playlists in different languages. See the real trade winds circling the flat Earth, and clean screen features. Simply click off the items you don't wish to see. The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app is the best tool to show your friends and strangers how our flat Earth actually works.